let's debunk some common misunderstandings about Ukraine. These are all things that I believed about Ukraine before I moved here, which are completely not true. And I'm sure there are other people that have the same thoughts that I did if you haven't visited Ukraine and if you haven't lived in Ukraine. So I've been living here since 2018. If you're interested in more content on life in Ukraine as a Brit, then just follow, subscribe, comment, like, do all the things. Thank you. So first thing that I thought that Ukraine as a whole was just like a second world country. I thought of it, now don't hate me for this, I thought of this as like the Africa of like a little Africa of Europe. I don't know why I had that in my head, but I thought it was going to be like technologically and behind, the infrastructure would be behind, and like the general how they live would be a lot less like advanced and less developed country than England. Reality is quite different. The speed, I would say when I moved in 2018, okay, the roads were in quite a bad condition, but the speed at which they've been fixed is incredible. And also in England, the roads aren't perfect by any means, especially if you're going through villages and things. So roads and everything, they've been fixed so much of the infrastructure, buildings popping up here, there, everywhere, even during the war. In terms of technology, a lot more advanced, or things develop a lot faster than in England. Bank systems are they're much more technologically forward than they are in England. In England, we're very slow with our development and adapting new changes, I guess because we've got such a long history and all of the institutions and things, and it just takes a long time to make changes and to adapt to the current climate. So like I have a British bank and I have a Ukrainian bank, and oh me oh my, the difference is like chalk and cheese. Like there's such a big difference, and the Ukrainian account is so much faster to use. One thing that is, I would say in England, they've got better structures for getting like mortgages, which are like loans on your house. That kind of thing in terms of banking is probably more better in England. But like the day-to-day sending money, transferring money to your friends, setting up bank accounts, setting up businesses, all that is much easier in like keeping taxes, all that is easier to manage on a day-to-day basis in Ukraine, and the whole system is much more user-friendly and secure, I think. I don't know, but it feels a lot more secure and like more up-to-date with technology. In general, the whole technology thing, like how the government in Ukraine, we have this thing, it's called Dia, which is the government app, and you've got your passports in there, you've got all your documents. I've got my like resident permit. It's all electronically, but it has the same, like it means the same as the physical documents. And you can also do things like you can do like buying a house. I think you can also now get married like online. I think they've now got that, and they've got like loads of different services that you can now do completely online. Car registration, all that, and it's really, really good. And yeah, really easy to use. And I was setting up a company as well. I managed to set up a company here like super fast. So that was one thing, just generally. Another thing that I thought about Ukraine, I thought it would always be cold. This is really random, but I thought it was like going to be freezing all the time in Ukraine. And my mum, when I said I was going to move to Ukraine, she bought me like a giant jacket, like a big winter coat, because she was like, oh, it's going to be freezing. And we live in the south of Ukraine, and it's like summer is like over 40 degrees. Winter does get cold, like it can get to like -10, -15, but not for a very short period of time, like a few weeks. But in the summer, you like from like April to November, it's pretty warm. So yeah, that was definitely wrong. I also didn't realize how big it was. I didn't realize the variety of nature, like that you have some of the most beautiful beaches, which are now occupied, but you've got the most beautiful beaches, the most amazing mountains. You've got like a little desert. There's a little desert near where we live, like this little mini desert thing going on. They've got They've got rivers, they've got beautiful lakes where people go fishing. And then they've got the big like cities. I also didn't realize they had so much advanced cities. Like going to a major city, it's like any city in Europe, right? They're huge, metropolitan cities, which I didn't realize they had. I was expecting everyone to like live in these little like shacks. But yeah, extremely advanced. Another thing I like, the variety. Especially where we live in like Bessarabia region, there are so many different nationalities that live here. It's very multicultural, but not in the way that England's multicultural. But we have a lot, like just on the road, on our one street, we have Bulgarians, we have Moldovians, we have like gypsies. I don't know if they're called that, but they're not here anymore. And we have us, who's British, Romanian, like there's a lot of Bulgarians and Romanians, Moldovians in our area. And Turkish, we eat a lot of food that's similar to Turkish food as well. So yeah, there's been a lot of influence from a lot of countries here. So it's really interesting, vibrant culture, vibrant place to live. And another thing, I thought it was going to be, this is my last point, I thought it was going to be a very dangerous place to visit, especially as a female, traveling alone, which is what I did in the beginning. I was traveling with friends, but yeah, I was the only non-Ukrainian in the group. And I thought it was going to be dangerous, but it totally was. Of course, I mean, traveling anywhere has its safety concerns, and you have to take care, especially as a female, whenever you're traveling, solo traveling especially. But I have always felt safe in Ukraine. Even traveling, especially traveling by myself, actually. If I'm on a bus or something and people, they quite quickly realize, especially when I first moved, I couldn't speak the language. So they realized, okay, she's a foreigner and she's traveling by herself. And people like took extra care of me. They make sure they can help me carry my bags, make sure I know where I'm going. They point me out. They'd explain to me what the person was saying. I always had pleasant experiences with strangers. People are very, especially when they hear you're a foreigner, they're like really happy to have you in the country, and they're just really, really kind. And I've never had. I feel like there's less like random crime. People do crimes, but it's usually against people they know, like their like husband and wife have a fight, or two friends are drinking and they drink too much and they start fighting, and that kind of thing happens. But like random attacks, like for example attacks on women late at night, it seems to be a lot not as common as in Britain. Maybe people are too busy. They don't have time to fight each other. But yeah, I feel very safe here, and I really enjoy it. So there were a few things. Let me know, what are other like misconceptions that you've had about Ukraine, or what do you think people think about Ukraine that is not true? Let me know in the comments. Have a good day.